Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. If you've not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we're now on the road to 500 subscribers here on the YouTube channel. If you love sports content, sports talk, anything from the NFL to the NBA, it's all right here on the Talk of the Town podcast. And I hope you all been doing well over the last week or so, man. I know during this stretch, since I've recorded, this NBA MVP race has really heated up. I think it's at historic heights. I think someone asked me the other day who I think should win the MVP this year for the NBA. And when you look at the list for the top four guys, there's five. They have Jaylen Brown at number 5, but he has really no real shot to win it. Wemby, SGA, Jokic, and Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is at number 4, but many people are arguing he should be at number 1. And when I look at this race, I think we're at a point now to where you can't really make a pull-away argument for any single player. I think when you look at whoever's going to win and the other 3 guys, let's say Wemby's number 1 today, and Luka, SGA, and Jokic lose, you can make legitimate arguments for every single one of those guys to win, and they're going to get snubbed. It is what it is. You're going to look back and you're like, dude, he should have won. He should have won. He should have won. And you may be biased towards which player you like more. Like, I feel like that's kind of what this MVP race has led down to. All these guys have great records with their teams. They're the main reason their team is winning games. They're putting up historic scoring numbers. Wemby, with his two-way ability, it's one of the highest peaks right now we've seen for a player on the offensive side and the other side of the ball on the defense. I mean, he's really just been incredible. So we're going to go over the top 5 MVP candidates and kind of break down which one that maybe I would pick to win. But it's going to be tough. So let's get it started here. We're going to start off at number 5 with Jaylen Brown. Look, Jaylen Brown, he has real no shot to win. He doesn't really have a shot to win the MVP. But I do think he deserves to be in that discussion, though. Good for him. He's helped lead the Celtics to a playoff spot today. They actually just clinched a playoff spot. They're at least going to have a top 6 seed, but it's looking like they may end up pushing for the 1 seed here, especially with Cade Cunningham now being out for really, no one really knows how long he's going to be out for with that collapsed lung. So he's probably going to miss the rest of the regular season here, the little short bit we have left. And Jaylen Brown has helped lead them to a playoff spot. He's excelled his play, and he's also proved he's a star without Jason Tatum next to him. He can win without Jason Tatum. He's proved he's one of, if not the best shooting guard in the league right now. I mean, he's really incredible. I do think he deserves to be up here on this list. But when you look at the other 4 guys we're going to talk about here today, he just doesn't really hold a torch to these guys, right? It's tough, but I definitely do think he deserves his flowers. He's been incredible. And I think, especially for him, look, this is big bonus points. Jaylen Brown's criticism his whole career so far has been, well, he's been playing besides Jason Tatum. He's had Al Horford. He's kind of stepped onto a pretty loaded Celtics team. He's had decent guys next to him his entire career. And people have been saying he's been piggybacking off of Jason Tatum. I think you could argue that each one of them needs the other. Like, I think Tatum needs Jaylen Brown, and I also think Jaylen Brown needs Jason Tatum. I think if Boston was going to get to the playoffs without Jason Tatum, right? But I think during the playoffs, they'd really realize how much they missed Jason Tatum right next to Jaylen Brown, and vice versa. Like, Jason Tatum, I don't know if it would be the exact same results as Jaylen Brown's had right now, but they would be an incredibly competitive team still without Jaylen Brown and with a healthy Jason Tatum. And I think come playoff time, we seen it in the finals a few years ago when Jaylen Brown, when he won finals MVP, how much they really need him. And Jason Tatum throughout the playoff stretch, you'd look, they'd have to play the Knicks, maybe Cleveland, whoever, Detroit, and you'd really realize, damn, we are missing Jaylen Brown, we're missing Jason Tatum. So vice versa, I think he's proved now that it's not just a one-man band with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum may have the higher peak, per se, and that may be who pretty much anyone would take over Jaylen Brown, but this team needs him, and he's proved that, and he's led them to a winning record, to a playoff spot without Jason Tatum. He's proved he can do it himself. He doesn't need a sidekick next to him to do it. So good for him. And at number 4 on the list, the actual MVP list, by the way, this isn't my list, my personal rankings. This is the actual MVP list. You look it up today. Luka Doncic at number 4. This is tough because Luka Doncic so far, his season right now, especially if he were to win MVP, kind of reminds me of the 2018 season with James Harden. His scoring ability has just been one of the best I've seen in recent years. His ability to score, when that ball is in his hands, he genuinely is just unstoppable. Really, the only hope you have with Luka is you just have to hope he misses the shot. I've seen him just knock down crazy shots from the hash, fading, step back over 2 people. It just really reminds me of 2018 James Harden when Harden won the MVP. It just very much reminds me of that. And I think Luka is actually the better passer than Harden this season. I was watching that Rockets game the other day with Luka and all them. And towards the end of the game, the end stretch there, he was throwing some ridiculous passes to LeBron, coming through the baseline on the back, throwing lobs to him. I mean, it really was. His court vision is insane. To me, he's a better passer than Harden. I do think Harden all time is a pretty underrated passer, but he's obviously known more for his scoring. Luka is known more for his all-around offensive game to me. Now, a lot of the problems people have with Luka is his defense. Luka is a liability on defense, but he actually has stepped up his game over the last few weeks with it. But he's just been lethal. I mean, I think out of all these guys right now on this list, he is by far the best offensive player, the best scorer on here. And I just think the problem is for him, if he were to do this last year or maybe even the year Embiid won MVP, like this is the toughest year to win MVP right now. And I've been saying that to everybody who's been asking me. It's just, he can be one of the best scorers in the league. I think he's actually a better scorer than Harden was right now, especially post-All-Star break. Post-All-Star break, Luka Doncic has been the best offensive player in the NBA by a mile right now. Like I mentioned, he's just been unstoppable, completely unguardable with the ball in his hands. But his defense holds him back, and the other guys above him, you can just make arguments for every single one of these guys. And it's going to be tough for him to win it again with his defensive performance. It's not all of a sudden going to change here in the last few weeks of the season. Excuse me. That if he were to average 2-3 steals a game and all of a sudden really turn it up, I don't know. What's really weird with Luka, and I've seen a couple people go around saying this as well, and I completely agree. Luka's never won MVP, but it already kind of feels like there's voter fatigue for Luka Doncic. Like how I'm going to mention with Jokic at 3 here in a few. It just has that feeling. Like, it feels like he has voter fatigue for a player who's never won MVP. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, I think Wemby should get it. He's never won it. SGA, he's on an absolute dominant run, even though he won it last year. We don't think the voters, it doesn't seem like they have any problem giving it to him again. But Luka, though, they're just making it seem like he's already won an MVP or something already. I mean, he's been on the MVP ballot for a few years now, but I don't know. It is really weird seeing where he ranks on the list and seeing how the voters talk about him. I don't think he's going to win MVP because I've heard the voting ballot there for the guys saying, we're never going to vote a guy in who doesn't play any defense. And I've seen guys make legitimate arguments about Jokic. Like Jokic, what was it, 2021 he won MVP, was one of the worst statistical centers in terms of the defense. In terms of his defense. He was one of the worst centers in the NBA, but he still won it because he was so good on offense. So, and I had seen people make that argument, and I do think it is legit. Like, Jokic is not known for his defense, right? I think he is a decent defensive center, but his offense is just so dominant. I think Luka is in that same realm of his passing, of his scoring. I think he's better than that year James Harden won his MVP in 2018. So I think he has legitimate arguments to win it. A lot of people want him to. He's been the best offensive player in the NBA post All-Star break right now. He's just literally unguardable. And the Lakers down this stretch, what are they? Let me check the standings real quick. I had them pulled up. They're 9-1 over their last 10 games, and they're 48-26, and right now in the 3 seed. They're not going to get the 2 or the 1 seed. The Thunder and the Spurs are right now like 1A, 1B, the best team in the West. But this charge, the Lakers had a really poor first half to their season, and they've looked like one of the best teams, not in the West, but in the league right now. this post All-Star Luka Doncic run. I mean, he's averaging a ridiculous number right now. I mean, look, this is his last 10 games, right? 41, 43, 32, 33, 60, 40, 36, 30, 51, 30. I mean, he has just been utterly ridiculous. I mean, I would love to see this guy win MVP. He's averaging 34 a game on almost 50% shooting. Where else is he at? 7.8 rebounds, 8 assists, 1.6 steals a game. He has stepped up his defense as well. There's a legitimate argument he should jump up from 4-1. And again, you guys let me know who you think should win MVP, because I'm genuinely curious right now. So number 3, though, we have Nikola Jokic. He's been on a dominant offensive run for what now? 6-7 years now. I mean, he's been in top 3 in the MVP ballot, I think, for the last 6 years. I mean, he just is on the greatest run offensively for a center, I think, ever. I actually had someone I know mention to me, well, what about Wilt Chamberlain? Wilt Chamberlain is not averaging 50 a game in today's NBA. He's just not, all right? I had someone mention that when I was talking about the greatest offensive center ever. They mentioned Wilt Chamberlain to me. I'm like, dude, hell no. You put Wilt in today's game, I think Wilt's probably in the high 20s or something like that. He was a ridiculously strong player. He'd obviously have to adapt his game to be in today, which I think a lot of people underestimate with guys that played back then. Is like, how well could they adapt their game now if they had to play now? I don't know how well Wilt would adapt to today's game, but Jokic, in terms of his passing, his rebounding, his scoring, he's the best all around. I just think the best offensive center to ever play the game. He's just absolutely fantastic. He's averaging a triple-double right now, but I think the only thing that's really going against Jokic is voter fatigue. He's won 3 MVPs, in the last 6 years or something like that. 5-6 years, he's won 3 MVPs. I think the only 2 to win it besides him is SGA and Embiid so far the last 5-6 years. So he's just been dominant all around, and voter fatigue is real. We've seen it with Lamar Jackson in the NFL a few years ago when Josh Allen won it. And I think that's the only thing that's really affecting him. Because when you look at his numbers, which is he's averaging 27.9 a game, 28 a game pretty much. I usually round that up. He's averaging 13 rebounds and 11 assists a game, 1.4 steals and 0.8 blocks. Yeah, we know Jokic's defense has not been the greatest side of his career. And that's what a lot of the people are arguing too. And what I argue with as well with Jokic and Wemby is you have to argue all these guys against Wemby, because right now Wemby's at the number 1 spot in the MVP race. Is Wemby has been fantastic offensively. He's one of the best offensive centers in the league, scoring. He's just, when you watch him, when he gets down low in the rim, he can shoot as well. Dude, how many times have I seen Wemby this year shoot a fucking half-court 3 or damn near half-court from the hash? It's just a guy who's that tall with that wingspan doing that is, you can't guard that. You literally can't guard it. But Wemby's thing is his defense, and Jokic does not bring that ability that Wemby does at all. Really, no one else in the league does, or maybe anywhere in NBA history, that two-way ability of how good he is on offense and defense. There's guys who rival him in defense. Dikembe Mutombo for years, Shaq's defensive ability in his prime, like Dwight Howard in his prime. Trust me, I don't forget all those DPOYs he got, right? So Wemby's on a legendary run, but Jokic does not bring that. That's what people argue is like, yeah, he's great offensively. He's won 3 MVPs. We want to see someone else win it. That's not me, but people are saying that, right? That's what the voters are saying for the MVP race. And of course, he's missed some time. He missed some time with a knee injury a little while back, so people are going to take that into account. But overall, I just think voter fatigue is going to be the main thing that kills him. And then if you had to make another argument about his play compared to Wemby, it would just be his defense. But offensively, there ain't no one can hold a candle up to Jokic in terms of what he does all around for a team's offense. He's a 7-foot point guard, making behind the pack, behind the head passes, and a bunch of crazy shit. It looks like Magic Johnson out there, but 2-3 inches taller. It's just ridiculous. So you can make a legitimate argument for him. He's dominant on that side of the ball. And here's the thing, too. a lot of people have kind of forgotten about the Nuggets so far in the West. People are talking about, well, the Spurs, the Lakers have been eating up, of course. The Thunder are the team to beat, obviously, all around the league. They just came off a finals win last year. They're the best team in the league right now. But the Nuggets are tied with the Lakers for the third spot. They're right now the fourth seed in the West, but they're 48-28, and they're 8-2 over the last 10 games. Jamal Murray has been playing to another level in his career. When you have that playing besides Jokic, this team is just legitimately lethal. Their offense, the way they move the ball, it's going to be a tough team to stop. I think the Nuggets are some serious sleepers coming up here in the playoffs. And in number 2, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the list. He came off an MVP last year. He's been number 1 so far in the MVP ladder now for the last couple of months. But Wemby's crept up on it to be number 1 over the last few days or so. He right now to me is one of, if not the most, he's on an incredibly dominant scoring run in his career right now, all time. I mean, the amount of 20-point games he scored, he broke Wilt Chamberlain's record a few weeks ago. He's just been all around dominant. He has his team first in the West. One thing people don't value with Shai is, I know they talk about the foul bait. They don't like his style of play. But one thing with him is he knows how to win. He has turned this franchise around into a winner. This team has been the best winning team in the league now over the last few years, and they just have been a pretty unstoppable force, right? I thought over the last, or at the beginning of the season, they were talking about the Thunder legitimately breaking the Warriors record, the Bulls record for the best record ever in the NBA. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but this team's going to finish with what? Well over 60 wins, probably, it's looking like so far. They may finish with 63, 64 wins. This is back-to-back years with plus 60 wins for this team. This team has just been fantastic, and Shai's the one leading the charge. His scoring, I mean, he's the main scorer on that team. When he gets in that mid-range, towards that mid-range, that step back, I don't know if you guys seen that game the other day of him going against the Knicks. He completely took over in that game. Here's the thing about the Thunder is, all around, this team does like to share the ball. They have a young core. These guys have played together so far, so they have a lot of chemistry on that team. But when Shai wants to take over, he is absolutely going to take over games. And I think his stats are also held back by the fact that their team chemistry is so good. This team is built around other guys, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams. They have a lot of guys all around that can score whenever they want. Lou Dort, great two-way player there. But to me, his efficiency, he is a 66.4% true shooter. I think that's like an all-time high, I think, or something like that. Last time I seen, I mean, it's insane how good that number is, right? His ability to score. Also, Shai's a really underrated defender as well. His perimeter defense, he puts guys in boxes on the perimeter. I mean, they have a really tough time scoring on Shai. He's physical, so I think he could very well end up winning it, but we'll see. Again, he may have the problem that Jokic has, maybe with voter fatigue. He just won an MVP last year, but his all-around ability to win and be the main guy who's leading the charge there, guys, look at that. He absolutely deserves to be in the top 2 for MVP voting, for me at least. And he is number 2 on the list on the MVP ladder for the league right now. And at number 1 on the NBA MVP ladder so far, heading into the last few weeks, they have Victor Wembanyama there. And I can't say I disagree. There's a lot of people saying, I don't know, but look at where the Spurs are at with him and where the Spurs have been at without him now. I mean, since Tim Duncan and those guys retired years ago, the Spurs have kind of been a joke. Like, I was saying, this is kind of making Greg Popovich's legacy kind of look like ass. Like, his last, what? I mean, it was probably 7 years or so. I mean, the Spurs were really bad, like horrendously bad. And they were constantly picking top 5, I mean, they just were not a good team. And Victor has completely turned that around like that. And he's only in his 3rd year, and he's as good as he is. He is by far the best two-way player in the league. He's averaging 3.1 blocks a game. It's looking like he's going to go down as the best defensive player to ever play the game. Like, The only thing that will get in the way of that is obviously if he keeps getting injured. He's been healthy this year. He had that blood clot last year that completely derailed the season for him. But when he's healthy and that team around him they built has been fantastic, I think he might actually be the best player in the league. His just physical ability, 7'4" with a ridiculous wingspan. He gets down in that painted area. You can't guard him. I mean, who's going to block a shot? He should. It looks like he's hooping on a Nerf hoop down there. It's just it's ridiculous. It's crazy, and I just think that team, they're the only comp to the Thunder right now. I don't know about the Lakers. I love Luka. Like I mentioned, they're hot right now. The Nuggets, they're hot right now. They're underdogs, but I think the only real comp for the team to beat, which is the Thunder, is the Spurs, and that's mainly because of Wemby. Chet is kind of a unicorn himself. He's that big, long, tall, lanky guy, but he's not as good as Wemby is. And honestly, he's had a tough time guarding Wemby for the times he's had to match up against him. And yeah, I don't know. I think when you really value a guy who's so important to their team, who is the most valuable player into their team? Shea is incredibly valuable to their team. He made Luka the same, Jaylen Brown the same, even though he has no real shot. Jokic, of course, right? He's incredibly valuable to the Nuggets. He's just really the whole glue to that team. But so is Wemby on both sides of the ball. Defensively, that team would even be nearly close to what they are defensively. Offensively, the same there. How he does things on both sides of the ball, to me, I agree with. I do think he should be number one. I think he's the reason the Spurs right now are only 3 games back from the Thunder. They're 56-18. They're 9-1 over the last 10 games or something like that. He's averaging, I think, like 25 a game, 3.1 blocks. If you were to take someone like that out of your lineup, and again, you could take any of these guys out of any of these lineups and their teams would be drastically different, right? And that's why you can make an argument for all these guys winning. This MVP race is historic. You can make arguments for any of these guys. But if I think I had to make one pull-away argument, which is what a lot of people have struggled with making with any of these guys, it's like, okay, what's that one thing that really puts this guy above the others? To me, for Wemby, it's what he brings on both sides of the floor. Defensively, that team would be devastated without him. Offensively, that team would be devastated without him. If you took away SGA's ability on offense, my God, the Thunder wouldn't be nearly the same team offensively. But you took away his ability defensively as well. And again, we're nitpicking now because this is so just, it's tough. It's tough. You have to nitpick. You have to get down to the nitty gritty of things to make sure to really make sure he's going to win this MVP award. So Jokic, again, you take away his defensive side of the ball. Are the Nuggets really that much worse? No, of course, his offense, though. Yeah, you take that away, that team is nowhere near where they're at right now. So it's tough. But I do agree with Wemby being at the number one spot. That two-way ability he brings is ridiculous. So you guys let me know who you think should win MVP. Leave your list in the comments for your top 5, whether or not you think Jaylen Brown should be number 1 or 2. You leave it underneath there. So I'd be curious to see what you guys got to say. That's it for me today, y'all. I hope you all enjoyed it. And make sure to see you all in the next one. Take it easy.